Great, man. Cool, 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 man. Welcome to RockEyez, Steve, and great career so far. Really, happy about what's going on with you and stuff
Oh,
like
thank you, Brian. It's so good to see you again, man. It's been a while.
that. Yeah,
It's good to
yeah,
see you.
yeah. Yep. Let's first start with a band I don't know much about. Sweden Has the Bomb. Tell
Okay.
me a little bit about that.
Um, that's when I first met my buddy Frank Schaefer.
Uh-huh.
He's a guitar player in Initial Kick, and we were kicking around Philadelphia. That was back around 2005, I think, 2005. And we played around. It was mostly like a cover band.
Right.
And we were playing around Philly for about 3 years. And that's where I met Frank. So that was sort of the beginnings of our associations.
Cool, cool. Did you basically play all East Coast states?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We didn't travel too far from home.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's okay. You know.
But yeah, it was fun. We played. It was me and Frankie and Steve Yasko on drums and Bobby Berkland on vocals. And Bobby came up with the name, and we thought it was hilarious. And we said run with it. Sweden Has the Bomb. We were cracking up. So it was a fun band. We did a lot of bizarre covers that most people wouldn't have thought of. So that was our thing.
Excellent, excellent. Now, the when Punky Meadows, came back from his hiatus or whatever you want to call, he played BB King's first with Keith Roth as the bass player.
Yes,
Then, I photographed that show, and then after that,
I was
Punk-
there.
yep, and Punky came back, but that was the chance the next time. And actually, I got a chance to meet you and your girlfriend Karen for a little bit and talk and chat.
Yep,
We saw you walking them by the front door there, the alleyway, whatever you want to call it, and we
yep,
talked a little bit. A lot of people didn't know who you were, you
right,
know, because still, that was still Keith Roth's gig for now.
right.
And then Punky came back in 2018 to DeBonair, and now you're on stage. Tell me what that feeling was like. I don't know if Keith Roth was just a temporary thing or how that worked. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a funny story. Yeah, Keith is a great guy, by the way,
Right.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
you probably, I'm sure you're aware, but check out the Dictators if you haven't seen them. Love, 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 love. That's a band close to my heart, goes way back, and I'm so happy that Keith is playing with those guys now. Yeah, Keith played with them for a while, and so what the hell? I'm trying to think. Well, I jumped on stage at the Chance show, and I did like two songs. Just I looking back on that, I kind of consider that was sort of like my live audition or something like that,
Yeah.
and I guess I did okay. And
Yeah.
this is the funny thing. This is how it all went down. Is I was playing with Initial Kick at the time,
Right.
and they Punky and Danny and the guys were coming to the Trocadero in Philly,
Right.
and Steve Sermansky, who's booking the shows, he called us and he says, "Do you want to open for Punky?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, yeah." And I found that out just like a couple of days before I even had met Punky at BB King's. So it was like great news. And the thing is, I'm an Angel fan. I was an Angel fan ever since I was a little kid. I had all the albums, I had the posters on my walls. So like I was like in heaven. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna meet Punky, because he just disappeared for a couple of decades. Nobody knew.
Right. Yeah.
He just vanished. And so what happened is I had gone through all this trouble to set up this camera at the sound booth because I wanted to shoot our show.
Right.
And in my nervousness before the show, I forgot to tell somebody to hit the red button, like, so like I didn't even get to record Initial Kick for that show. But it wound up being kind of an auspicious moment because, Punky had come to me and he said, well, hey, I see you got a camera set up. Can you shoot us? Because we don't have any good footage of the band yet. And I was like, well, yeah, I got plenty of space because I didn't even shoot us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
sure, I'll shoot you guys. So I shot the band, and then later on having to get that footage back to Danny and Punky, talking to Danny and stuff. I was like, well, by the way, I'm not really, just a singer. I'm really a bass player. That's my main thing. And
Right.
And at the time, there's like, oh, well, that's a coincidence because we're looking for a bass player, you know. So I was like, well, you know, consider me, you know, like I would love to, you know, play with you guys, you know, and that's how it all started, you know, just from having forgotten to turn on the red button for the video for Initial Kick.
Unbelievable. You know, like I said, that Punky show was at DeBonair in 2018 when I got to see you live for the first time, and that was with Punky's band at that time, I think.
Right. That was the first full show I did with Punky was the last full show with Chandler singing. And that was, well, that was actually, that was late 2017, actually. That was like, I think it was like November 10th, 2017, if I'm right. I think that was the last show with Chandler. And Chandler just had a busy schedule and all that, and so he had to move on to the other things, and then that's when they pulled Frank into the fold. So that was yeah, set up 2018.
And in 2021, I guess the band became Angel, and I saw you again at Debonair.
2019,
and I photographed you at Debonair again, and you were back on stage again. So I guess you were a permanent member at that time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, Punky had asked me to play with him and the guys back, you know, when they pulled Frank into the fold and everything, and then yeah, I was about as official a member as you could get, I suppose.
Cool. I mean, you're on posters.
I spent 6 years with Punky, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you're on posters and everything else. So
yeah.
Sure, yeah, you know, that must be a nice feeling, huh?
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. If my like 15-year-old self, you know, if I could go back in time, like it would have blown my mind, you know, say like you're gonna play an Angel someday. I was like, wow, you know, like that would have dream come true, because like I said, I was a big fan, you know, and still am. Love those guys.
Yeah, I think the first time I might have saw Angel might have been at the Tower in Philadelphia. You know, so you know, I
know some guys who were at that show. They talk about that, you know, and I saw him back in '78 and '79 because my hometown was like around Poughkeepsie in that area. So at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, I saw him in '78 for the White Hot tour, and then '79 for the Sinful tour, and in '78 the Gods were warming up, and Gods, yeah. I mean, I walked in an Angel fan, and I walked out not only an Angel fan, but a Gods fan. And then later on in life, I wound up becoming friends with Eric Moore, and I did his webpage for about 10 years. And at one point, Eric actually said, because Eric, back in the day, he was bass player, singer, songwriter, you know, and but then in later versions of the band, sometimes he would play like 6-string guitar, you know. And so for a while, you know, they were kind of, it was always more band members than Spinal Tap came and went through the Gods. But at some point he did say, Steve, come out and play bass, you know. And I never took him up on that because, you know, I'm living in Delaware and he's out in Ohio, and you know, so that never happened. But to go back to that show at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center in '78, seeing Angel and the Gods, and to think that someday both of these bands are going to ask you to play bass from.
Wow, yeah. That has to be an awesome feeling.
Yeah. So it was great.
Cool. So how did they actually get Frank back in the band?
I guess just Danny and Punky were talking to him, and well, what happened was, you know, Punky had come out with his solo record, and just by coincidence, roughly around the same time, Frank had his solo record out. Old Habits Die Hard, great record, and you know, so they both kind of ran their course, I guess, you know, and then they were like, well, what do we want to do now? And so when Danny and Punky were talking to Frank, they were like, well, let's, you know, let's pull this together. And then, you know, so the first year, you know, it was just called like, you know, Punky Meadows and Frank Domino of Angel, right? You know, and then at some point that was a long title. I think that was a problem. You know? So at some point they were just like, let's just call it Angel, you know, and then we put on the white outfits and boom, you know.
Cool. Now let's get into Initial Kick and play with Mercury. That band started when, about 2001, 2, or really early?
Well, no, that was probably 2012. I would say that was because, you know, me and Frank had done Sweden Has the Bomb from about 2005 to 2008, and then and then the guys understood when I had this opportunity to play with Punky, they were like, we get it, you know, so I had to kind of put Initial Kick on the back burner for a little bit. And so we, you know, me and Frank stayed in touch, you know, we were still good friends, and we, you know, got together, jammed a little here and there. And then around 2012, we were talking about like, let's do an original project, you know, because
Right.
like I said, Sweden Has a Bomb, that was mostly a cover thing. So we started, you know, writing, and we started playing together, and we went through a bunch of iterations. And you had talked to Tina Gresco, right?
Yes.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah.
She actually sang for us in one of our earlier incarnations, you know, when we were feeling out what we were doing and everything. And
Right.
you know, we had a lot of fun, and she did a killer version of the Motel's Mission of Mercy.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so we were having fun with that for a while, and we went through a bunch of you know, iterations of the band, and then we finally kind of came down to what is Initial Kick now. And so that was around, you know, yeah, we started playing in 2012, and you know, we've been together in one form or another ever since.
Right. Cool. Cool. Now this CD came out in 2023. You working on new material?
Yes, yeah, yeah. What wound up happening was, you know, we put out Plays with Mercury. That was the first Initial Kick record that came out October 6th and 23. And but we had recorded so much stuff, you know, because it was like 10 years between when we started playing and when we actually put out the record. So we had like all this material, and we, you know, we kind of honed it down to that one record, but we had all this other stuff that we were doing. So we were like, man, we want to, you know, you know, conventional wisdom would dictate that, you know, you put out a record, you go out and you tour for it. And when it came out, we were like, you know, we were jamming, but we weren't really tour ready, I don't think, you know, and we were just farting around. But for the most part, we were like, you know, like, we got all this material, let's do another record, you know. So like we just immediately jumped on you know, the second album, which we're working on now, and that should be coming out in like early 2025, I think. The way it's looking now, and there's a lot of fun stuff going on with that. We just had a really good time with the first record, and so we just keeping that creativity flowing and dovetailing right into the second record, and then we'll get the live band out there
Yeah.
again.
Cool. 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 Let's go down the tracks and tell me your feelings towards each song. So let's start off with On the Inside.
Oh, On the Inside. Well, it was weird because we went through like a lot of ideas of what order are we going to put these in. Now these days it kind of matters less. People just pick the song they like, and it winds up on a playlist. And so, you know, back in the day, you'd put on the vinyl or the CD or whatever, and you would hear them in order, and it kind of made a difference, you know. So we finally, you know, came down to putting On the Inside. It's just a general statement of, you know, don't judge a book by its cover. You know, like it's like there's a lot more going on the inside. So yeah.
Cool. Cool. How about Tomorrow and Forever?
Tomorrow and Forever, God. I love that song. It's well, you know what's funny, and I don't think it would occur to anybody, but like there's actually like a little bit of Neil Diamond in that chorus, you know. When I was a little kid, like all I had to listen to, there was, you know, pre-MTV, pre-internet, pre-everything, you know, and when I was young, I would hear only what was on the radio or on TV, you know. So I would hear like, you know, the Partridge Family, the Monkees, you know, Neil Diamond and all that, you know. So I have this real pop sensibility built into, like, you know, when we're writing stuff, I try to you know, get the catchy stuff in there. And Tomorrow and Forever, I think, is a great pop song, you know. Like, I mean it's heavy. It's actually, it's got Richie Ranno playing on some guitar. He's trading solos with Frank and this and that. And that's a really tight commercial, could be, you know, theoretically a commercial song. It's a good pop tune.
Cool. Cool. How about Wish You Well?
Oh, Wish You Well. That's a great song. In a way, that's kind of an homage to Hanoi Rocks, because me and Frank love Hanoi. You know, we love Hanoi Rocks a lot. Michael Monroe, one of the best front men that ever lived, you know, and a great voice, you know, and so that song is very much in the vein of Hanoi Rocks and Michael Monroe's style. So that was kind of a tribute to him in a way.
Right. Yeah. So,
love to hear him do it someday.
and there's some good bands there. You know, Hanoi Rocks is excellent band. You know?
Love. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. How about Tranquilizer?
Tranquilizer, that's a lot of fun. That one's it's the only song we do on the album in 3/4 timing, and it's kind of got that like waltz beat to it, you know, but also like a beer hall, you know, kind of vibe to it. And that song is just about you know, kind of like everyone needs some kind of relief, you know, from just daily everything, you know. So that song is just saying, you know, give me a tranquilizer, just, you know, give me something to, you know, whatever works for you, you know. Give me something to ease the pain just a little bit. Give me a little relief, you know.
Wow. Did you ever come to Punky or Frank with material that you thought might fit the band?
Yes, but they're I can't say too much, but it's pretty much like Danny, Punky, Frank.
Yeah,
They're doing the writing, you know. I
yeah.
guess I would have hoped over the years that maybe, you know, I could have worked a song in, but it just didn't happen. So yeah, not for a lack of wanting, but no.
So, how about Sotheby Wasteland?
Sotheby's Wasteland. That's a lot of fun. A lot of these songs have like a very tongue-in-cheek kind of lyric to them, you know, and it's sort of like just a general commentary on, you know, marketing in
Right, yeah.
America, you know, capitalism and marketing and stuff like that. Not making any statements or anything like that, you know, but just some funny commentary on marketing for the most part.
Cool, cool. So who does all the networking for Initial Kick?
We have no network.
Uh-huh.
we're, I mean, we don't have a record label. We don't have management. We don't have anything. We're just like, I mean, we're like a garage band gone wild, you know. We're
Yeah,
just kind of winging it and doing it all ourselves, and it keeps it simple. I mean, it's a lot of work, you know, but
yeah,
we're kind of doing it all ourselves. And I mean, that being said, I got to give props to Charlie Calv, who's been
right.
a huge help. Deco Records, Bruce. I'm not even going to attempt to say his last name.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
But yeah, Charlie and Bruce were great, and they hooked us up with you know, Warner Brothers distribution. So you know, you can find Initial Kick on Amazon and, you know, all the major streaming platforms, which was really
right.
cool. So yeah, you know, thanks, huge thanks to Charlie. Yeah.
Who took that last press photos with the smoke going up and stuff like that?
Oh, that's Brian Wild. He's a great local dude who works on a lot of independent films, and he came to shoot us. We're actually in the process of working on videos for, you know, a couple for the next record, but
Right.
we also shot some stuff for we felt that we didn't get enough videos in for the last record, because there's one song, Me and Rock and Roll, which we love and we think is that song deserved video. So that shot that you saw is from a video for Me and Rock and Roll.
Yeah, that's
And
definitely a cool shot.
and I should also mention, since I brought up Brian, Tranquilizer wound up being in the soundtrack for one of his movies, Boxan, and
Wow. Cool.
we have a really nice video that incorporates footage from the movie and live shots and all that for Tranquilizer. So yeah, we like the whole visual experience, you know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
good music is great, but if you got a good visual to go along with it, then that's, you know, extra gravy, that's bonus, you know.
Cool. Did you ever think, you know, back in the day when you were like 14, whatever, you'd be at this point in your career?
You know, I don't know what I thought. I mean, I guess I would hope that,
Right.
that I would be doing something worthwhile, you know. It's yeah, I mean, I'm in my 60s now, so it's kind of like it's different, you know.
Right.
Um, Probably had more energy for it back in the day, but you know, better late than never, and
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be doing this now. And a lot of what we're doing now really is it's a big culmination. You know, I mentioned the song Me and Rock and Roll. Man, I started writing some of the lyrics for that back in like 84, you know.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
So and then the chorus came a little later, but I mean, these are songs that kind of really, you know, harken back to you know, my childhood and my youth, I should say, you know, when I've got a lot of sentimental feelings about, you know, the early days of rock and roll, and so this music that we're doing on these Initial Kick records is a real tribute to that, like I said, like a love letter to rock and roll and our roots of music, you know.
Cool. Now, what was the reason why you left Angel to keep on going with Initial Kick?
Uh that I'm not entirely sure.
Uh-huh.
Hey, is that a yellow-bellied sapsucker over there? Yeah, I think I got to pass on that question. That's I would need like 2 or 3 hours to explain that to you. We'll talk sidebar later, but
Okay, cool, cool, cool,
that's a tricky one.
cool. Let's go to the next song, Me and Rock and Roll.
Me and rock and roll. Well, yeah, that's I guess I halfway answered that one. That was a song that was many, many, many years in the making, and it sort of came together like a Frankenstein monster. There was verses from this and a chorus from that and different guitar parts and uh and even actually one of my old guitar players from another band when I was in upstate New York, we used to play out in a band called Wasted Angel. And Wasted Angel's guitar player was Phil Mad Dog Roberts, and he wrote a chunk of that song as well, Me and Rock and Roll. So it's just all these pieces that fit together like perfectly, just
Right.
dovetailed into each other, and I love that song. It goes back a ways.
Cool, cool. How about Sloane Road Kids?
Sloane Road Kids, all right. It's that's a great kick-ass song. We used to open up with that one. And that's about everybody back in New York. We used to travel down the Hudson Valley and go to Newburgh, New York, or up depending on which direction you were coming from. And one of my best friends, Wayne, he built this fort back in the woods. And it wasn't just like a fort, like you think of a kid's fort, like a teenager's fort, you could, kick it over with one well-placed kick, usually those kinds of forts. This fort had like, cement floors, triple bolt lock doors, a second story on it. It had like heating, air conditioning, refrigerator, like all that stuff. It was way the hell back in the woods back in Newburgh, and it was called like Teenage Wasteland. There was a sign when it said Teenage Wasteland down this long ass trail and stuff. And this was the place to be back in the day, in like the like late 70s, mid to late 70s, and man, we just party our ass off. And anyway, Sloane Road Kids, that was the road it was on, and or off of, and this I call it a fort for lack of a better, but it doesn't do it justice really what it was, but it was the place to be, and everybody used to just go hang at this place back in the woods, and it was Sloane Road Kids is all about that. Yeah.
How about 93?
93. That's a fun song. That's another one that came together in like just pieces over the years. It's basically just a song about a relationship that you wished had happened, and if someone had, timing is everything in life, right? So like this was like had this person come into your life just at that time, 93, then there could have been something, but the timing was off. So it's yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. How about At Home with the Animals?
Home with the Animals. I love that song. I guess I like them all. Home with the Animals is a great riff that is kind of a tribute to Eric Moore from the Gods. I love that. I was almost going to have him sing that, and then he got too sick, and then he passed away a few years ago. But that's kind of an homage to the Gods' first record, and it's basically saying, you can mix and mingle with all kinds of people in life, but when it gets down to it, I really like to just party with the animals, and that's what that song is about.
Cool, cool. How about Sugar Sugar?
Yeah, that was fun. That was a song that we kind of started just as a goof. We were like, what's the cheesiest bubblegum song we could possibly do, and that was the obvious answer, and but we're kind of just doing it for fun, and then it wound up sounding like really good, so we were like, well, hell, let's put it on the record, and that's kind of the process we're going through now with the second record, is we're recording much more than we need, and then we're going to kind of narrow it down to like the 10 or 11 or whatever kind of rises to the surface, because you never know, some songs it could be like your favorite song, and then maybe the mix doesn't turn out the way you wanted, or something's a little off, but and then some songs that you're just kind of having a go at as a lark, and then it turns out great, so we're kind of seeing how that goes. But that was Sugar Sugar, and Sugar Sugar was fun too. The one part of it I like is that it starts out with the guitar melody from My Girl, so it's a little bit of a bait and switch, like it starts out, okay, My Girl, cool, and then as soon as the vocals kick in, it's Sugar Sugar.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool, cool. I think that was by the Archies.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
How about Big in Singapore?
Big in Singapore. I love that song. That's a lot of fun. That's another fun one to play live. Well, but before Initial Kick really got going, I mean, the core of the band is myself and Frank Schaefer,
Right.
and we had been together for years, ever since Sweden Has the Bomb and all that. And we did this Christmas video for Silver Bells, which was
Right.
another one that we just kind of did as a goof, but then it actually wound up sounding pretty cool. So we made this like little video, and it's just like me and Frank, and we put it on, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and like it started getting all these likes from Singapore,
Right.
and for just random, who knows? I don't know why, but like I called Frank, I was like, dude, we're big in Singapore, man. And then that was the birth of the song. So that's how.
Cool. What's the feeling like when people come and ask for your autograph?
Oh, it's cool, man, and because I mean, I'm just so humbled,
Uh-huh.
so humbled by the experience, and I mean, I'm not like famous, you know what I mean? I'm like little teeny weeny bit, and thanks to Punky and the guys in Angel, or else, nobody would probably even know who I am, right? But like, um, it's very humbling, and I'll always take the time to, whatever people send me stuff in the mail, I'll send it back, because like I know what it's like, because I'm the fan, I'm them, you know what I mean? Like at the BB King's show you mentioned for Angel, I was there in the I was there in the meet and greet line, and I was like, I'm gonna be Punky Meadows, this is like, I can I can die a happy man. I met Punky Meadows. This is
Yeah.
cool. So and who knew what was going to happen? But to that end, like I'll always take the time, and anybody
Right.
wants anything, I'll sign anything. I'll send them anything they want. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you definitely have a following, they, because like even when I posted the interviews today, I got so many responses like they want to hear from you, so
Yeah.
like it got to be like an ego boost, whatever you want to call it. It's just nice having a following, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels good. I used to tell Karen, I was like, if we have 12 fans, a dozen
Right.
fans, that's a win. I'm happy,
Right. Yeah.
So anything above and beyond that is extra gravy, and I'm thrilled, and because the thing is, even more than being a bass player, more than being a singer, I've just been a writer, like ever since I
Right.
could write, I was writing songs. So to finally get good versions, the best that we could do within our means, to get good versions of these songs out there. That's kind of like what the point was. So if it resonates with anyone, I'm thrilled, like,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and I'm not the greatest singer in the world either, but I give it a hell of a try, and I do my best, and I'm just happy if somebody likes the stuff.
Definitely. So what's a typical day for you then during the day?
During the day, what is a day for me like? Oh my God. Well, yeah, a lot of it has to do with Initial Kick. I mean, I'm just, I'm always working on, either I'm editing a song, or I'm recording a song, or I'm working on a video, or, like something's going on with that. So that's been a dominant part of, my life ever, post Angel, like I've kind of thrown myself back into it, and the guys are happy about that. So, yeah.
Uh, do you hope the new CD comes out on vinyl?
Yeah, well, we put the last one out on vinyl, but we only did 100 copies, you
That's what
know.
most of the people are doing, only 100 copies.
Oh, is that okay? So it's not just us? All right,
Oh
cool.
no, almost everybody. They'll do actually 200, but 100 will be black and 100 will be a colored vinyl that they wanted. But mostly everybody only does the 100.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, we did the 100 last time, and that's there are a couple of copies still kicking around. Like you can go on Amazon, and you can find a couple of copies, but yeah, that went pretty fast. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll put the next one on vinyl too. It seems to be. I mean, it's made such a resurgence. And one of my best friends said to me, "He's like, don't even put it out on CD, just put it on vinyl." And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's,
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll get this next one on vinyl too.
cool, cool. Now, as a fan, would you rather have vinyl, CD, cassette, or download?
All of it.
Yeah,
Because it's different for, I think it's a generational thing, and it's cool that vinyl has made such a resurgence in recent years. That's cool that it's made this kind of a comeback. And that's the way I like it, large format, like you could,
right. Yeah, yeah.
because that's all we had back in the day. And I don't mean to sound like an old fart, but that was great, like you'd look at this, what was it, like a foot and a half by a foot, whatever, or whatever, you know, like, and you know, you had that large format album to look at, you know, and sometimes that's all you had, you know, it was, you know, pre-MTV and all that. So you know, it's nostalgic for me
Uh-huh.
to work with the vinyl. Oh, I see the timer's clicking. What do we got?
No,
10
it's okay. It's okay. We got 10 minutes.
minutes? 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, we
Time
got 10.
left. All
So
right. We'll try to fit as much as we can.
yeah. So when you were with Angel, did they have any kind of tour rider or anything special they wanted backstage for them to eat, drink, or anything like that?
No, it was real loose, man. It was it was handled very loosely. So there was no brown M&Ms in the riders, nothing like
Right.
that. You know, just
Uh,
make sure we got amps to play through, and that was about it.
Now, what did you do first? Play bass or sing?
Bass.
Bass.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm one of the few bass players that started right out just bass. You know, a lot of bass players, it's like you got too many guitar players. We need a bass player. One of the guitar players has to switch over to bass, you know.
Right.
But no, I started right off. Well, you know what it was? Well, if going back to my youth again, I mean, like I said, like all my influence was all this pop stuff, you know, whether it was
Right.
what was on TV and the radio, and but my older brother would bring home albums, you know, and
Right.
once in a while, you know, he'd bring like, and most of the real heavy stuff to me just sounded like noise to my pop sensitized ears, you know. But then he
Right.
brought home Kiss Alive,
Right. Yeah.
and I saw that album, and I was like, who the hell are these guys? You know, like I got to know more about this, you know.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Who are these dudes? Because I love theater. Anytime when
Yeah.
you know rock and roll and theater come together, you know,
Right.
that's for me. That's the magic combo for me, you know. And when I saw Kiss, I was like, oh my God, I got to know more about this, you know. And then, you know, put the album on and say, oh, the songs are actually good too. You know, it's not
Yeah.
just this wacky look they had, you know. And I had intended on being a drummer up until that point. And I remember looking at the Kiss Alive album cover, you know, and there's these three insane gods out front, you know.
Right.
Um, and Peter Criss was this little dude all the way in the back, you know. I was
Yeah.
like, I think I got to be one of those three guys.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even know the difference between what a bass guitar and a six-string guitar was, but I noticed there was only one guy that had four strings,
Right.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
and it just happened to be the guy who looked the most insane
Right.
and intense, you know. So I was like, I think I got to do that. That's what I got to do. So it's silly moments like that that wind up like shaping a whole life, you know. I mean, that was like, you know, to
Right.
this day, I still think I probably would have been a better drummer than a bass player because I mean, I instinctually hear beats, you know, when we're writing songs, it's like I hear all the drums, I hear all the accents and all that, and um, you know, then I get to the bass later, right? But yeah, so that's one of those funny moments in life where that's why I'm a bass player. I did get to meet Gene a couple of times, so I was like, yeah, you know, that's you know, you're the reason I play bass, so you
Yeah.
know,
Cool. Cool.
yeah.
What's your feeling about Kiss retiring and now they're going to go out as avatars?
Eh, I don't know. I mean, you know, God bless Gene. He's going to make it stretch it out for as long as he can do it. You know, I don't know. Me and Billy actually went to the second to last show. Billy, the drummer
Right.
from Angel. Me and him are still like best friends. We talk all that every day. You know, like we're talking all the time and stuff, and we do things. And we had gone to that show, and I mean, I think you know, it's been said, but I'm glad they kind of stopped when they did, and you know, because Paul's voice was getting pretty rough, you know, and Gene can still sing fine because he never wrote stuff that was too high, but Paul
Right.
wrote way the hell up there, and you know, then you're 70 whatever years old, it's harder, you know. So I think it was a good call to stop. The avatars, I don't know, jury's out on that. I gotta
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Looks like I understand ABBA did it and it was great, and there was the Ronnie James Dio thing for a little while. I guess he was
Right.
doing some Avatar thing, but you know, love Kiss, love. You know, am I going to go see an Avatar show? I don't know. You know,
I'm not going. I'm not.
we'll
I,
see. You know,
I
we'll see.
can't do that because I saw them live so many times. I just can't see me looking at a screen or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't. In your younger years, did you collect anything?
Oh my God. In my older years, I collect things. You should see my house. Holy crap. I was going to shoot downstairs in the studio this video and I could have spun the camera, you know, but it's like, oh my God. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I collect tons of stuff, everything downstairs. Yeah. I'm a bit, like I said, I'm a big Hollywood fan, old Hollywood. I love Hollywood history.
Right.
Um, and music history and everything. So like, yeah, my downstairs is this is just my office, but like downstairs is like where the magic happens.
Cool, cool, cool. What did you collect? Like just albums, cards, movies?
Oh man, I mean, my walls are just, you know what, some of my prized possessions are like I have one of the original like Gene's dragon boots,
Right.
I have the shells, and that was something ever since I was a kid. Like when the Destroyer album came out, I was just fascinated by the album cover. Before there was even any promo pictures, I was like, are these their real outfits? He's got dragons for boots. Are you kidding
Right,
me?
yeah.
This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, So yeah, downstairs I have, made from the original molds from Gene's original molds. I have
Right.
like two of the shells for the dragon heads,
Cool.
And sometimes I put candles in them, looks all gothic and everything, just, I mean, stuff like that. I have, from, Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm a huge Tim Curry fan, and just, yeah, again, that's another great blending of,
Right.
rock and roll and theater, I love all that stuff,
Cool, cool. Well, Steve, it was great talking to you, and I appreciate the chat. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, both Initial Kick fans and Angel fans, I just want to say thank you so much for the support. It means the world to me and the band and the whole band. I'm talking about, Frankie Schaefer, Alex Reckless, and Johnny Zabo. Thanks so much for that. And to the Angel fans, I just want to say thank you so much, because the 6 years that I spent with Frank and Punky, I had such a good time, and the fans were so accepting, and because I was kind of bracing myself a little bit when we decided to call it Angel and all that, like, is there going to be some pushback, like, where's Felix, that kind
Oh,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
But they were wonderful, and having met them on the road, because being on stage playing, you look over and there's Punky and there's Frank, and like, this is great, but then when you look in the audience and you see the people smiling and singing along with all those songs, the same songs that I love, I'm like, I get it, because like I'm an Angel fan too, and I love all that stuff. So to be, even in my own small way, a part of that, and to be able to bring the music to the people for those 6 years was really special. And, that meant a lot to me. Yeah.
Great, great. Well, thanks a lot, Steve. I appreciate it, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's so good to see you again, man. It's been a
You
while,
too.
but let's not make it so long next time, yeah?
No problem. See you later.
Thank you, brother.
Bye-bye.
Peace. All right.